When the sun sets, the undead awaken. To slake their hunger, they feed upon the herd of unaware mortals. Right beneath our noses, the kindred clash against their rivals as they vie for control of the city of San Francisco. Are you strong enough to cheat final death and see another night? Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game from Renegade Game Studios.
Hello and welcome to Vampire Wednesdays. I am Sara Erickson, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Renegade Game Studios. And I am not joined by anyone tonight except for our amazing video production manager, Desiree, who is helping us out on the back end. But I won't make her come on screen. But everyone say hi and thank you to Desiree for helping us out every single week. But I don't have anyone else here with me this evening because I just have a couple of quick things to talk to you about. And so if you have any particular questions, please put those in chat right away because this might not be a super long stream. But we do have a few little things we wanted to tell you. So I wanted to make sure and just check in and say hi tonight. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is, if we could get a little bit of a drum roll, the winning clan for our backers choice vote. So if you voted in this, which I'm sure you all did because you're all here, hopefully this was one of the clans that you picked. But if it's not and you picked some other clan instead, don't worry, we used all of the information that you sent us and we have lots of plans for lots of clans, but we wanted to know which one was your favorite. So Desiree, do you want to tell me which one of the winning clans we chose? Well, actually, which one won?
Sure. So I believe it was La Sombra.
La Sombra! Yay! So that clan will be featured in one of our upcoming sets, which we haven't actually announced yet, but we will be sharing more info about that very soon. And we did just want to tell you that that's the one that won. We haven't released the information about who the second and third place winners were, but you'll find out more about that in the future. So La Sombra clan fans, thank you for voting, and thank you to everybody else as well. And we have some awesome people in chat. Awesome as Coyote, good to see you as always. La Sombra, I'm glad you're excited. Jeremiah, thank you. I'm very happy to be even more involved with Renegade. I guess I've always been involved in Renegade, but it's very exciting to be recognized and have this new title. It's very cool. And local citizen asked, will they pair with second place or a clan that melds well with them? So I will double check that with Matt Hyra, who's actually going to be on our show. Desiree, is that next week? Is Matt Hyra joining us next week?
I believe that's the plan. If everything works out, we're going to have Matt next week. Both Matts.
Awesome. So, yeah, Matt may or may not be able to answer that question, but Matt is actually working really hard on several upcoming sets. And I don't know whether or not second place is specifically paired with La Sombra. I kind of think it's not because he had some other plans for those other clans that will be lots of fun. And yeah, if you were here last week, we had Matt Holland, who was chatting with Rick Enke, and he is now, Matt Holland is part of our team. He's from Fantasy Flight. We interviewed him a couple weeks ago. So if you want to get to know him a little bit better, he is now our program manager on the sales and marketing team. So he's in charge of doing all sorts of fun organized play stuff, which we had an awesome meeting about this week, and I can't wait to announce more stuff. And so yes, next week, Matt Holland and Matt Hyra will hopefully both be here to chat more in-depth strategy, which should be very fun. So yes, La Sombra is going to be our next clan thanks to our backers choice vote. And I did also just want to say, even though this is the only time that we've officially announced you guys get a vote, tell us what you love, we'll for sure make a thing out of that. it's not the only time we're going to involve the community. So if you haven't seen this yet, we actually have a really, really cool event coming up for Renegade Con, which is the weekend of Valentine's Day. So February 13th and 14th. So in just a couple of weeks. And one of the events we're doing during that whole weekend is going to be a card building workshop. So if you want to help us build a card that will be in some form in the game in the future, make sure you show up for that. It's going to be a really fun event. And Desiree actually posted the link to go and get your free tickets. It's a totally free event. We just want people to come and have fun. We know everybody is still in a similar situation in 2020. 21 is still difficult, so we don't want to do anything that'll take a lot of, money or anything like that. It's totally free event, just something to do for fun that's a little bit different than your regular weekend activities. So yeah, come join us for that. It's going to be super fun. And so yeah, that is all about that. We do have another good question. How long until you preview the Rivals online deck builder on this broadcast? Very soon. So that's a good question. We actually got an update from our web team on Tuesday. And they said that the final version of that for us to just double check and play with internally to make sure that we don't have anything broken, that's going to be ready next week, which is fantastic. We're really excited that that's so close to ready. We'll just put our final touches on it, and then you'll be able to use that and all of the wonderful functionality that comes with it very shortly. So yeah, it's coming along. As I said before, if you have any more questions, please post those in there.
We actually have a question from Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So Philip from Facebook is asking a question if we know anything more about shipping for the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and definitely something I wanted to cover. So now that it looks like most of us are here, I did want to give you a shipping update. I wish I had more concrete information for you, but the sort of overall way shipping works, and this is a longer explanation than you maybe care to have, but this is how shipping works. We make the game, our factory has it ready to go, and then we talk to the shipping company and say, hey, it's ready to be picked up, come and get it. And then at that point in time, they book a container, which is on a particular vessel. So they have to book a spot on that boat. And then it takes, after it's picked up, goes to the boat leaves the dock, it takes about a month for it to normally come across the water all the way to the US or to pretty much anywhere around in the different locations. And it takes about a month to get there. And then it takes us 2 to 3 weeks to get it to the right warehouse, unpack it all, pack it back up in little shipments for each individual person, and then ship it out to you. So where are we at in that process right now? So we've printed the game, we've approved everything, all the pieces look great. The factory has it ready to go. It's sitting at the factory, and we have been trying for about a month now to book that container to go onto a vessel, actually several different boats because it's going to several different places to get out. And China is having a very difficult time right now getting containers back from the US, because in the US, those containers aren't getting off of boats because things are slowed down at the ports. People have COVID issues, all sorts of stuff is going on. So boats are just piling up in all these ports, and the containers aren't coming off of them. So then they're not going back to China. And that's really unusual for it to be that long. Usually we see little delays, especially this time of year, because also starting about now is this fantastic event in China called Chinese New Year that lasts for about a month. It's sort of like our Christmas break, where people start going home and they go spend some time with their families. They usually are at the factories and different various places working really hard all the time to make us awesome games, and they get to take a break and go back and spend some holiday time with their families. So they have mostly all left the factories now. Our games are still sitting there, and we are still waiting for those shipping containers to come back from the US to be available for us to put those games on there. So when Chinese New Year's over, which will be at the end of February, hopefully we will have had a vessel booked. Everything will be ready to go. Games can get on there, take about a month. So end of March, we'll get them to all the different ports. And then end of March, beginning of April or so is when we would expect those to start going to the different fulfillment warehouses. Then April, we expect them to actually be sitting on your doorstep ready to play. So I know that is a long time. And somebody's asking, do boats get loaded during Chinese New Year? So they can, but it definitely is slower. The problem is that the factory is not open for the goods to be picked up to go onto the boat. So as soon as the factory closes, it basically says we can't get this out and it's not going to go anywhere. So we have about 2 more days before the factories close, and I'm crossing my fingers that it could make it to a boat, but because there aren't any containers, I'm not sure it would go anywhere for a while anyway. So if I get a different update, I will tell you, but that is all of the information I have right now, and I wish I had better news. But we will have better news. We have some really cool stuff that we have come together and planned for that in between time that we thought that you would be playing your game. We have a different plan for that time instead, and we are going to be announcing that as soon as we can, which should be very, very soon. So hold tight. We're doing everything we can to get you your games, and we wish that we had more control over things that we don't have control over, but we really appreciate all your patience. Our Kickstarter backers, all of you have been amazing, very supportive, super, super helpful. All the comments have been really, really positive, and we know you're waiting. So thank you. Really appreciate it. Any more questions on that? I'm happy to tell you anything you would like to know. Full transparency. We just want to make sure that you guys understand the situation. And it's definitely something that the entire world is struggling with right now. The shipping container problems. It's nobody's fault. Nobody did anything on purpose. Nobody's made any mistakes. It's just hard. And boats are very slow. So I think that's all that we have.
The upgrade tokens?
Yes, that's all that we, sorry, I was about to get to that.
Okay.
That's all we have about shipping. But yes, Desiree has the most, the final version of our upgraded tokens, which are one of my favorite components in this game. I think they're awesome. They're going to be really, really nice to be able to play with. And so we're excited since we actually have the final version of those at the studio now. They've been proofed, everything that happened needed to happen with them. So she has made a cool little video to show those off for us. So Desiree, it's all you.
Well, it's playing right now. So if you
okay.
wanted to say if
that,
you wanted to say a few things about them, I mean, they're really, they feel really nice. They make their nice clicky clacky noise on the table that I like. The colors are amazing. So yeah, I took a few pictures and video for you all to take a look at.
Thank you so much for doing that, Desiree. It's very, very nice to actually get a better look and feel for what those are going to be like. And we've used these in another game, Warp's Edge, and the process that we used for those actually taught us a lot about how to make these, and these are even better than the ones that we made for Warp's Edge. So I'm excited to get these in people's hands. And just since you haven't played the game yet, just so you know why there's all these different colors, if you come to the table and you want to play, say, blue, it doesn't have to be a particular clan, but you would bring your blue tokens, and then those are going to go out in various places on the board. They go on certain places on the event deck cards. Sometimes if an event comes out, you use them for voting. You'll put them on top of schemes. So there are lots of places where you need to designate that it was you who put that token in that place, even though it's not directly in front of you. So that's why we have the 4 different colors. And when you're actually playing in, say, a tournament, you would want to show up with a couple different colors. So that way, if somebody else at the table is playing with the color you intended to play, then you can switch it out for a different one, because you want to make sure that everybody is playing a different color. So yeah, that's why they're these beautiful different colors. Those are the upgrade tokens. And yeah, any other questions anybody had about these? These are also one of the things that was included in the all-in backers pledge level. So if you backed it at that level, these are going to show up. You'll have them right away. These are all for you, which is a pretty cool thing. These are definitely going to be a little bit of an extra nice, just upgraded bonus. Very cool. One other piece of news while we're looking at these beautiful tokens that I did want to share with everybody is that we, in case you play role-playing games, which I know not everybody here is an RPG fan, but if you do, we also announced just in the last couple of weeks that we partnered with Roll20. I'll show you my t-shirt. I'll get farther away. We'll see if it works. Okay, nope. Anyway, Roll20, yay! We partnered with them, and we will be doing some RPGs on their system, which I'm really excited about because they are just fantastic. The Roll20 team is amazing, and we have a whole seminar during Renegade Con about how to use Roll20. So if you haven't ever used it before, you possibly want to play some RPGs with people remotely, it's a really, really good option for that. Even if you just want to play with your friends around the table, it offers a lot of extra stuff that you can do that makes it easier for your GM, a little bit easier for the players to keep track of stuff. So it's a really good option. So please check that out. I love Roll20. It's fantastic. And we will be doing more with that in the future. And we did get another couple of questions. Will the first expansion be several months after the core set? If it shows up 1 month after the core set due to the delay, would you hold it or release it? This is a really good question. So as I explained where the delay happened and why things are delayed, you clearly picked up on the fact that if we were playing on our normal schedule, we would already have expansion number 1 pretty much ready to go. And you are right, we do. So it is coming very quickly, and we will probably not delay it very much. I don't have an exact number of days in between the release and when the expansion is going to hit, because we want to get some more information about when the core set's actually going to land. But that is something that we have been considering and thinking about how to make that plan for, because the first expansion is ready to go. And I know that people are going to want to play with those clans in the first expansion. You probably want to know more about it. So if you get that core set, you're really excited, you have lots of stuff to play with, then how long do you want to wait for that first expansion? And my guess is not too long, because I think you're going to play the core set a whole bunch and really love it, and then want 2 more clans that you can switch in and out with that. So it won't be a really long time, but it'll be long enough for us to make it logistically feasible to get it to the right people all over the place. But we have plans to make that part of it even faster. So we're doing what we can to get it everywhere it needs to go as quick as possible, so you don't have to really wait for it. So I'm excited about that. Good question. Awesome as Coyote, will we be able for tournaments to have third-party tokens? Those do look great. I'm glad you like the way they look. Those kinds of questions are going to be laid out in our extensive tournament rules document that Matt Holland has been working very hard on this last couple of weeks, maybe even the last month. So he and Matt Hyra have been putting their heads together and then talking to the rest of us on the team, and we've been going through lots of different scenarios, things to think about. So I will make sure that that is answered in there. And yes, please ask both of the Matts next week. But that's a great question, and there's lots of other information in there. How do you run a tournament with only 2 players? How do you run a tournament with 4 players? What sort of formats are going to be available? What does organized play even mean? All of these types of questions are things that we are going to be able to tell you very soon, and we're working on that. So that will be pretty exciting. All right, I'm close to done with all of my updates. Desiree, is there anything else that you want to make sure people know?
Let's see. There was a question in Facebook. So, how does an LGS sign up to run tournaments, and when do you anticipate the first OP kit will be released? So I guess that's more of, we'll find out more later.
I can answer part of that. So the very first organized play kit is actually going to land with the Kickstarter. So anybody who is at that all-in level will get the season 0 organized play kit. Just straight out of the gate, we want to make sure that people know how to play together and have prizes to support that, because that's part of organized play. So we'll have that season 0 kit right away. The next several kits we've already made those too because we're planning ahead. So we'll give you more information about what those look like and what's in those and what the plan is for them when we tell you more in just a couple weeks. We're not quite there yet. I promise we have it all planned, but we have to go through the right process. So we're close to being able to explain all of that. So that's for the first organized play kit. How does somebody sign up to be a tournament organizer? Whether that's a store or whether that's a person in the community who really wants to just go out and tell everyone in the world about World of Darkness because it's awesome. We also have all of that information in our tournament organizer and organized play program document that we'll be sharing with you very soon. So that will have a lot of cool stuff in it that will make it really easy to be part of the community. Our goal is for anybody anywhere to be able to run this stuff. So even if it's just you in your house with your family for now, we understand that that's going to be pretty common. So we want things that are set up and organized so that you can do that. And then eventually we can't wait for stores to be able to safely run events again too. But we have to wait until that's safe to do. And that's going to be different everywhere. So we have some contingency plans. We have some things to do in between, and hopefully you guys will love it. I'm excited to share all of it with you, but that'll be in a couple weeks. We do have a whole video that we're going to be doing. I think it's actually a panel that will touch on a lot of this stuff. As long as we have approval and everything's good to go, we'll be talking about that at Renegade Con as well extensively. So all of these wonderful questions, write them down, remember them, and then make sure you show up for that panel and then harass Matt Holland about the answers. And it'll be fun. They probably won't be able to tell you a lot about it next week, but in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to share that with you. And it'll come with some good surprises. Should be fun. All right. Well, that is all of the updates that I had for this week. Desiree, one last final check. Any more questions?
Nope, we're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. It was wonderful to see you. I know I missed the last couple weeks, but thank you for being here. It's always wonderful to see everybody. Have a great week and go check out the discussion in Discord if you're not already there. And I will see you in a couple weeks. Matt will be here next week at 5 o'clock Pacific. Don't miss out on Vampire Wednesdays. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.